Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Good evening. Welcome to your Direct Connection. The Ken Burns film on country music continues tonight on MPT. A little bit of music, a little bit of history. And joining us now to open the door a bit on the world of country music is our former colleague here at MPT, Laurie DeYoung, the host of the highly rated morning show on WPOC Radio. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's just fun to be invited.
Well, talk a little bit about the show that you used to do on public television, but let's talk about Ken Burns for a second.
Okay.
What did you think when you first heard that Ken Burns was doing one of his epic documentaries on country music?
I don't know. It felt natural to me. I remember when he did the Civil War thing, there were things in that where I felt like he used some kind of real country kind of music in the background for that. And I don't know, when I heard he was doing it, I thought, I get that. I can hear it. Because we used to play some stuff from that Civil War thing he did.
Do you think this might open people's minds a little bit on country music? Do people have closed minds outside of your universe in country music radio that non-country people, a lot of them around here, this is mostly urban, suburban state, think of country as being, twangy and lost dogs and stuff?
Yeah, there was a day I had a closed mind. I didn't grow up with country music. I grew up in Michigan, and really there weren't a lot of country stations. I worked in rock radio and hot hits and all those, and people at those stations would make fun of it. And I didn't know much. All I knew about country when I was growing up was the TV show Hee Haw, where people were bib overalls and popping up out of the corner. And I used to think, I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, then I ended up in Baltimore at WPOC, and they were playing Lyle Lovett, Mary Chapin Carpenter, and we were playing, Garth came onto the scene and kind of melded the whole, entertainment rock with country. And all of a sudden I'm like, I get this. I get songs that have heart, that have a story to tell. I love stories. I mean, to this day, if you want to, get me on your good side, tell me a good story.
One of the reasons your radio station does so well is I think you're the only country station in town. But that means country music is broad, as the Ken Burns piece is describing.
Yes.
But you've got to be all things to all people.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, there'll be people who are, when you were asking earlier about being closed-minded or open, there are some people, country music is a certain kind of music, and it's like a traditional country, and they don't want to hear Keith Urban, and, people like that. Oh, that's not really country. That's not the country that I know. So I do think, I'm one of those people, I like all kinds. There's a lot of music. Now, maybe that's a little broader than is true. There's some I probably don't listen to, but I try to be open, and I think there's a lot to be said for a lot of different kinds of music. But country really includes a lot of kind of styles, which I appreciate.
How do you deal with a playlist on a morning show? Morning show, you've got news, you've got traffic, you got weather, you have a lot of content. You got
pieces,
It's probably not a whole lot of music. How do you mix it up?
We actually play more music than you would think. What's always hard for people is that we have to play a lot of the same songs because people listen for short periods in the morning. They're taking their kids to school, and then they're going to work, and they want to hear that song they love. So for the person who's sitting in the studio, you can hear a lot of those songs a lot of times.
Listenership. I mean, I think you guys do really well.
Country fans are loyal. I do think that. I think that that's a unique thing about country fans. They're particularly loyal to their artist. I think artists can stay relevant on the format for a long time, longer than in some formats.
Yeah, sure.
George Strait into his 60s. And there are certainly older country artists that we're not playing, but it's a broad audience. When you go to a country show, there's kids there, there's grandma there, there's mom and dad there, there's teenagers. So it really, I love that about country.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about country music or a thought to share, give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also email your questions. Email address is livequestions@mpt.org. So how's it changing? the Ken Burns thing is largely historical.
Yes, and I'm learning a lot because I didn't come to Baltimore till '85, which is a long time ago now, but that's my experience
just yesterday.
with country.
I agree.
Right.
It was
What are you
very
talking
recent.
about?
Yeah.
But I didn't grow up with it, so I know a lot of the names like Jimmie Rodgers, but to actually see his story and to see what he, went through, I watched last night, and it was just fascinating to me, just the whole mountain music and how he'd go find people in different little burrows out there in the mountains to, who would come up with new songs. And I don't know. And I love Johnny Cash, and I've gotten to meet a lot of those people over the years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Johnny's
any of
one of my favorites.
none of the big stars, and this maybe isn't a surprise, were from around here.
Yeah, not a lot of them, no. I mean, I mentioned Mary Chapin Carpenter. She's from the D.C. area. So
Sure.
there, once in a while you'll run across somebody who's from this area somewhere. But yeah, a lot of them are, there's a lot of Georgia in there, a lot of Oklahoma, a lot of Nashville, a lot of Texas, a lot of that.
Can you define country music, or is it one of those things where you know it when you hear it?
If I was Dolly Parton, because this is what she would probably say, I would probably say it's the music that has heart. It's the music that means something. It tells the truth. It talks about the hard parts of life. It talks about the good parts of life. It kind of, all of it. I think a lot of people like to whittle it down to, drinking and your pickup truck and mama and the train, and that's fun to make fun of. But I just love, I just love how you hear what people are saying when they're singing, and they have something to say. And that doesn't mean I love every single song. Not every song. Some are just goofy.
What do you do with crossovers? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that does make the top 40
Yeah.
chart, and typically you'll have an artist from another genre
Right.
who's brought in to give it some broader appeal. Do you play that?
Well, usually what happens for us is like like Dan and Shay right now, they're very hot, and they're now getting played on some other formats, but they started in country, Carrie Underwood's been like that. Keith Urban's been like that. There are a lot of artists that once they develop kind of a following in one genre, there hasn't been as much success with people coming from other genres into country, and I don't really know why that is.
The show you did here once upon a time.
New country video.
Yeah, it was like an MTV. You played music videos
Yeah, I was
at
like
a
a
time when that was
VJ.
new. You were a VJ.
Yeah, we did some interviews of people. We went to Nashville. Back in those days, I did a lot of broadcasting, radio broadcasting from Nashville. So we'd do video shoots, in the morning, and then I'd do my show in the afternoon, or vice versa, whenever it worked out schedule-wise. But yeah.
You have an event coming up, the station does, at Merriweather, end of the month. What is
Sunday
that?
in the Country. It's called Sunday in the Country. We've been doing it. I want to say this is our, I'll say it wrong. I was going to say 18th, but I don't know exactly. I should. I think I've been there for every single one. And it's really become this all-day event that people put on the calendar, and we want to come to this every year. This is a ritual for us. Everybody right about now who didn't get their tickets is coming to me. Lori, do you have tickets? Like, oh, they're all gone. But it's just about sold out. I think there's a couple tickets, but not much.
You can always fit somebody else on the lawn.
Yeah,
there.
right. We can squeeze you on the lawn.
Absolutely.
It's a great event.
Who's headlining? Who's coming?
Old Dominion. They're a great group. Great group. It's a very big lineup. We have Michael Ray. We have Lauren Elena, Dylan Scott. There's a lot of names. I think there's like 7 or 8 acts this year. So it's really, you get your money's worth. It's a lot of music.
Let's take a phone call for you. This is Holly. Holly, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Holly.
Yes, what's your question?
My question actually is a remark that my father, who just passed away, World War II vet,
Wow.
the great generation, he used to listen to the Kingston Trio and some of these other groups that took the original Tennessee Carter Sisters and family tunes and turned them into what they call folk music. So it actually goes back a lot further than most people think.
Yeah, she's
Very
right.
good.
No, she's right. It's surprising how some of the songs I was watching last night, Ken's documentary, and you're listening to these melodies and you're like, oh, that's been done, and they kept the lyrics, but they changed that, or
And I'm informed by a viewer that Patsy Cline is from the area.
Thank you.
No specifics, but from the area.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get up early. What time are you on the air tomorrow?
My show starts at 5.
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
WPOC. Laurie
5
DeYoung.
to 10. You got it.
Long shift. Thanks for stopping by tonight.
Oh, I loved it.
We
it was
appreciate
fun to be
it.
back in this building.
It's great to have you. When we come back, we'll have our health segment, how to keep those weekend warriors healthy. We'll be right back.
Got an unused vehicle going nowhere? Donate it to the one place that can take you any place. Visit mpt.org/vehicles and support the programs you love on MPT.
The MPT app puts our programs right at your fingertips, so you can choose when to watch, what to watch, wherever you want to watch it. Download it now.
Are you turning 70 and a half this year? If so, you generally have to start spending down your retirement account. Even the minimum distribution can place you in a sticky situation. Luckily, you can now use your IRA to make tax-free gifts. Gifts up to $100,000 will never count as income, but always make a difference. That's icing on the cake.
Make your gift for this year before December 31st. Visit mpt.org/support.
I want to know their stories. Here we go.
I grew up believing that I could literally be anything I wanted to be.
I'm gonna be very legendary. Things ain't never gonna be the same.
Prove it. That sounds like fun.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
This is mind-blowing.
That's incredible.
Welcome to the program, everyone.
That's amazing.
I have chills.
It's going to be big this year. Compelling, powerful, amazing.
Legendary.
We are overcoming limitations.
I'm all yours.
In tonight's Your Health segment, we're joined by Natalie Leong, Assistant Professor of Orthopedics at the University of Maryland School of Medicine and orthopedic surgeon specializing in sports medicine at the University of Maryland Medical Center. Doctor, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Jeff.
Should also point out that you're the team physician over at Centennial High School in Howard County.
Absolutely.
So fall sports are getting underway. We have your middle-aged athletes, your weekend warriors who are trying to take advantage of a little bit of daylight that's still left. What are the most common injuries that you see from both the students and the weekend warriors?
So across the board, a lot of sprains and strains of various tendons and ligaments across the body. In terms of injuries that require surgery, we're looking at things like shoulder dislocations, knee ligament injuries like anterior cruciate ligament or ACL injuries, meniscus injuries.
Let's focus on prevention a little bit, and then we can talk about treatment. What can we do, even at the high school level, to avoid some of these things?
So I think that being properly warmed up before participating in sports is important, and doing things in a gradual fashion, working up. So if you haven't run in a couple years, it's probably not a great idea to start with a marathon, but start with a couple miles, make sure everything goes okay, and slowly and gradually ramp up your level of activity.
Do you see that a lot in practice, where somebody sheepishly admits to trying something that maybe they shouldn't have?
Quite often. Often people who go to the gym and they haven't lifted weights for a while and they try to lift a very large amount, that's when you start to worry about tendon injuries.
What's treatment? And you hear conflicting advice all the time, when to ice something up, when to apply heat.
In general, I favor ice for an acute injury to decrease the amount of inflammation, to try to prevent it from getting very inflamed. And then heat is more useful for later on when you're trying to get your muscles to relax a little bit before stretching out. But if you acutely injure yourself, put some ice on it.
Is there a time period on that? I mean, ice in the first 5 hours, 10 hours, or?
I would say as soon as possible. So with our athletes pretty much on the field.
And at what point is it too late to start icing something?
When there's no longer any inflammation and swelling.
A lot of focus on hydration. It's been over a year since we had the death of a football player at the University of Maryland from heat stroke. Have things changed at the high school level? We know they've changed at the college level. At high schools as well?
Absolutely. I think our awareness of the issue of heat illness is much better. The Jordan McNair Foundation actually donated an inflatable cold tub for our high school at Centennial High School so that athletes all have access to these measures.
And there must be higher awareness, not just among medical staff and trainers, but the athletes themselves.
Absolutely. It's something that certainly is something that we all learn from and we all take very seriously.
Talk a little bit about the interaction of sports medicine professionals with athletic trainers, with coaches, and the other professionals who are involved in this, including physical therapists.
Absolutely. It's very much a group effort, and everyone has to have good communication and be on the same page when taking care of an athlete. It's important that everyone has clear expectations across the board of how long they're injured, how long they'll be able to, how long it'll be before they can return to play and at what level.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question for the doctor, you can give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also email questions. The email address, livequestions@mpt.org. Where do you go? If somebody gets hurt on the weekend, one of the problems with the weekend is a lot of people are off, including sports medicine experts for the most part. What do you recommend?
So during the fall, it's when our sports season is the busiest. We actually run through the University of Maryland an immediate care sports injury clinic. So every Saturday morning from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. we have a clinic that is staffed by an orthopedic sports surgeon that accepts patients on a walk-in basis. You don't have to be a high school football player. You can be just about anybody with an injury that needs to get seen right away.
Email question, what about high-intensity classes like Orange Theory? I've not heard of Orange Theory. What is that?
I have heard of Orange Theory. It's a high-intensity premium-type workout class. It is something great if you can do it. So once in a while you see somebody with an injury from a class like that, but I don't think it's a higher frequency than any other kind of athletic participation. So I wouldn't stop anyone from doing that if that's the thing they like to do.
So similar recommendation, don't go from 0 to 60, warm up a little bit. Let's take a phone call. Kent County, this is Joe. Joe, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, you're on.
Yes, the question is for the doctor, and thanks for being on the show.
Sure.
What is a bursa sac, and in particular in the hip? Is it really a sac, or is it more like a sponge? And is it true that it can burst? If it does that require surgery?
Very good. We'll get you an answer. Thanks very much for the phone call. You hear about bursitis. That's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. So a bursa is actually a sac of tissue. You have bursas at various places around your body, like in your elbows, on your kneecaps. It's basically, think of it as a plastic bag that's empty with two edges that are rubbing, and that's what allows your skin to rub over bony surfaces and move. But then if for any reason your bursa gets inflamed, it gets filled with fluid and it becomes very painful and uncomfortable.
What do you have for treatment?
So typically, anti-inflammatories are first-line treatment, so icing, taking oral anti-inflammatories like Advil or Aleve type medications. If it's pretty swollen, sometimes either drawing out the fluid or putting a steroid in there can help make it go away. In very extreme cases, you can need surgery.
Your role as team doctor for Centennial High School focused mostly on football?
Mostly football. I attend all the home games for the football team and help consult with any other injuries that may happen at the school.
And there's a lot of focus, of course, on concussions, and in the pros, at the college level as well, there's a concussion protocol. There's multiple people involved. High school is different, much smaller thing, but still possible to get a concussion. What do you do?
Absolutely. So there's a formal concussion protocol that's administered by our athletic trainers. Also, at the beginning of the season, everyone takes baseline neurological testing so we know if there's a difference after an injury.
What should parents know about concussions in sports? I mean, because you probably want to be aware at home as well, long after the game is over.
Right. So I think first off, there's been a lot of publicity around concussion, so hopefully people know this already, but if you suffer a concussion during a game, you should not be going back to play the same day. Afterwards, you're really looking for any symptoms that your child is not back to normal, whether it's memory issues, headaches, dizziness, all of those things need to be looked at. Treatment for concussion involves a lot of brain rest, so they should be in a quiet environment, not a stimulating environment, meaning no iPhones, no TV, not too much homework, and they should just be resting until those symptoms go away.
And who takes care of treating a patient for that? Is that sports medicine, or does that become neurology? Who do you want to see?
It can be either. There are non-operative sports medicine specialists, so primary care sports medicine specialists that typically do take care of concussions. The operative orthopedic surgery, we tend to focus more on the surgery of the joints than concussion.
What's the difference between a regular orthopedist and a sports medicine specialist?
That's a great question, because a lot of general orthopedists can take care of certain sports medicine issues. A sports medicine orthopedic specialist is someone who's done an extra year of subspecialty training, focusing on the issues that are most commonly seen in sports. And often that's a focus on surgeries that are minimally invasive that are done through arthroscopy.
So you're not doing a lot of joint replacements?
Not very many. I personally do shoulder replacement, which some sports surgeons do, right. But not much in the way of knee replacement or hip replacement.
I'm taking a look at an email question. This is something I can't pronounce. How does one heal from, I'll spell it, due to bar class, sesamoiditis?
Sesamoiditis?
That sounds good.
It sounds like...
There's too many syllables for me. You need more training.
Sesamoids are little bones in the foot, and they can get inflamed from overuse. It sounds like bar class is a good place to get a little bit of that overuse. I've personally done bar class, and it's quite a workout. So, like most injuries, rest, ice, compression, and elevation. So we use the acronym RICE. So put it up, take some Advil, put some ice on it, and give it a little bit of time.
Now, back to the ice question.
Yeah.
24 or 48 hours later, is ice still the right thing to do?
So if you're still having swelling and inflammation, then yes. But always be careful to put something between the ice and your skin, like a pillowcase or a t-shirt. You wouldn't expect it, but frostbite seems to be an issue.
Well-known NFL player dealing with that.
Yes.
Phone call, this is George in Anne Arundel County. George, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, George, you're on. What's your question?
Thank you. I wonder how objective or subjective the determination of a concussion is.
Good question. Thank you very much.
So when someone gets hit on the field, we start off with subjective measures. Or objective, but not that well quantified. We just ask them where they are, what quarter are we in the game, what's the score, who are they playing, basic screen. There's a formal objective scale that they do on the sidelines if there's any concern whatsoever, where you get certain points for certain tasks.
And then in follow-up care, it's not like there's a blood test or an x-ray that's going to give you a score, is there? No, the score comes from testing their mind. So they have to return to baseline before they can go back to play. We know in professional sports, there's just all kinds of pressure, big money, a lot riding on games to get people back on the field really quickly. If you had nearly unlimited resources in terms of money and medical staff, can you speed up healing? If somebody has a knee strain, for example, and maybe they play in the Ravens secondary and you want them back really soon, are there injections, steroids, plasma, whatever, that would make a difference? Absolutely. So there are experimental treatments
that we are getting to have more evidence on, but are newer, like platelet-rich plasma being one of the most common ones, also known as PRP. It's when you take blood from your vein, spin it down in a centrifuge machine, and then take the platelets and growth factors and inject it into wherever the injury site is. And the thought is that in some tendinitises, it does help. It's something that's not just available to the pro athletes, it's available to everyone, but not covered by insurance, so there's the out-of-pocket factor.
Are there any other tricks that at the highest level they can use to get back on the field faster?
Liberal application of steroids to calm down an acute inflammatory event. But once again, these treatments are available for everyone.
Right. Last thing I wanted to touch on is mouth guards.
Yeah.
You didn't really used to see a lot of people wearing them. Now you do. How do you recommend people get fitted for that?
So I would recommend that they work with their team athletic trainer to get that fitted. And everyone does wear one on the football team now, seemingly.
Yeah. Very good. Natalie Leung is with University of Maryland Sports Medicine. Doctor, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate it. Thursday at this time on Your Money in Business, how a new program is making it easier to save for retirement. Also streamlining your job search. We'll have details on that. Remember to take a look at our MPT website for information on upcoming guests and follow us on Twitter at MPT News. We're back Thursday with Your Money in Business. For all of us at MPT, thanks for watching and have a good night.
Your health segments are a co-production of Maryland Public Television and the University of Maryland Medical System.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.